Proverbs chapter 11. To set high standards for someone else and then not even live up to them yourself is something that God truly hates. But it pleases Him when we apply the right standards of measurement. When you act with presumption, convinced that you're right, don't be surprised if you fall flat on your face. Walking in humility helps to make wise decisions. Integrity will lead you to success and happiness, but treachery will destroy your dreams. When judgment day comes, all the wealth of the wicked won't help you one bit. So you'd better be rich in righteousness, for that's the only thing that can save you in death. Those with good character walk on a smooth path, with no detour or deviation. But the wicked keep falling because of their own wickedness. Integrity will keep a good man from falling, but the unbeliever is trapped, held captive to his sinful desires. When an evil man dies, all hope is lost, for his misplaced confidence goes in the coffin and gets buried along with him. Lovers of God are snatched away from trouble, and the wicked show up in their place. The teachings of hypocrites can destroy you, but revelation knowledge will rescue the righteous. The blessing that rests on the righteous releases strength and favor to the entire city. But shouts of joy will be heard when the wicked one dies. The blessing of favor resting upon the righteous influences a city to lift it higher, but wicked leaders tear it apart by their words. To quarrel with a neighbor is senseless. Bite your tongue, be wise and keep quiet. You can't trust a gossiper with a secret. They'll just go and blab it all. Put your assurance instead in a trusted friend, for they'll be faithful to keep it in confidence. People lose their way without wise leadership, but a nation succeeds and stands in victory when it has many good counselors to guide it. The evil man will do harm when confronted by a righteous man, because he hates those who await good news. A gracious, generous woman will be honored with a splendid reputation, but the woman who hates the truth lives surrounded with disgrace. And men who are cutthroats are only after money. A man of kindness attracts favor, while a cruel man attracts nothing but trouble. Evil people may get a short-term gain, but to sow seeds of righteousness will bring a true and lasting reward. A son of righteousness experiences the abundant life, but the one who pursues evil hurries to his own death. The Lord can't stand the stubborn heart bent toward evil, but He treasures those whose ways are pure. Assault your neighbor, and you will certainly be punished, but God will rescue the children of the godly. A beautiful woman who abandons good morals is like a fine gold ring dangling from a pig's snout. True lovers of God are filled with longings for what is pleasing and good, but the wicked can only expect doom. Generosity brings prosperity, but withholding from charity brings poverty. The one who lives to bless others will have blessings heaped upon him, and the one who pours out his life to pour out blessings will be saturated with favor. People will curse the business with no ethics, but the ones with a social conscience receives praise from all. Living your life seeking what is good for others brings untold favor, but the one who wishes evil for others will find it coming back on them. Keep trusting in your riches and you'll go, and down you'll go. But the lovers of God rise up like flowers in the spring. The fool who brings trouble to his own family will be cut out of the will, and he will end up serving a wiser man. But a life lived loving God bears lasting fruit, for the one who is truly wise wins souls. If the righteous are barely saved, what's in store for all the wicked? chapter 12. To learn the truth, you must long to be teachable, or you can despise correction and remain ignorant. If your heart is right, favor flows from the Lord, but a devious heart invites his condemnation. You can't expect success by doing what's wrong, but the lives of his lovers are deeply rooted and firmly planted. The integrity and strength of a virtuous wife transforms her husband into an honored king, but the wife who disgraces her husband weakens the strength of his identity. The lovers of God are filled with good ideas that are noble and pure, but the schemes of the sinner are crowned with nothing but lies. The wicked use their words to ambush and accuse, but the lovers of God speak to defend and protect. The wicked are taken out, gone for good, but the godly families shall live on. Everyone admires a man of principle, but the one with a corrupt heart is despised. Just be who you are and work hard for a living, for that's better than pretending to be important and starving to death. A good man takes care of the needs of his pets, while even the kindest acts of a wicked man are still cruel. Work hard at your job and you'll have what you need, for following a get-rich scheme is nothing but a fantasy. The cravings of the wicked are only for what is evil, but righteousness is the core motivation for the lovers of God, and it keeps them content and flourishing. The wicked will get trapped by their words of gossip, slander, and lies, but for the righteous, honesty is its own defense. For there is a great satisfaction in speaking the truth, and hard work brings blessings back to you. A fool is in love with his own opinion, but wisdom means being teachable. If you shrug off an insult and refuse to take offense, you demonstrate discretion indeed. But the fool has a short fuse and will immediately let you know he's offended. Truthfulness marks the righteous, but the habitual liar can never be trusted. Reckless words are like the thrust of a sword, cutting remarks meant to stab and to hurt. But the words of the wise soothe and heal. Truthful words will stand the test of time, but one day every lie will be seen for what it is. Deception fills the hearts of those who plot harm, but those who promote peace are filled with joy. Calamity is not allowed to overwhelm the righteous, but there's nothing but trouble waiting for the wicked. Live in the truth and keep your promises, and the Lord will keep delighting in you, but he detests a liar. Those who possess wisdom don't feel the need to impress others with what they know, but foolish ones make sure their ignorance is on display. If you want to reign in life, don't sit on your hands. Instead, work hard at doing what's right. For the slacker will end up working to make someone else succeed. Anxious fear brings depression, but a life-giving word of encouragement can do wonders to restore joy to the heart. Lovers of God give good advice to their friends, but the counsel of the wicked will lead them astray. A passive person won't even complete a project, but a passionate person makes good use of his time, wealth, and energy. Abundant life is discovered by walking in righteousness, but holding on to your anger leads to death. Chapter 13. A wise son or daughter desires a father's discipline, but the know-it-all never listens to correction. The words of the wise are kind and easy to swallow, but the unbeliever just wants to pick a fight and argue. Guard your words and you'll guard your life. But if you don't control your tongue, it will ruin everything. The slacker wants it all, but ends up with nothing. But the hard worker ends up with all that he longed for. Lovers of God hate what is phony and false, but the wicked are full of shame and have no confidence. Righteousness is like a shield of protection, guarding those who keep their integrity, but sin is the downfall of the wicked. One simply pretends to be rich but is poor. Another pretends to be very poor but is quite rich. The self-assurance of the rich is their money. But people don't kidnap and extort the poor. Virtues of God's lovers shine brightly in the darkness. But the flickering lamp of the ungodly will be extinguished. Wisdom opens your heart to receive wise counsel, but pride closes your ears to advice and gives birth only to quarrels and strife. Wealth quickly gained is quickly wasted. Easy come, easy go. But if you gradually gain wealth, you will watch it grow. When hope's dream seems to drag on and on, the delay can be depressing. But when at last your dream comes true, life's sweetness will satisfy your soul. Despise the word, will you? Then you'll pay the price and it won't be pretty. But the one who honors the Father's holy instructions will be rewarded. When the lovers of God teach you truth, a fountain of life opens up within you. And their wise instruction will deliver you from the ways of death. Everyone admires a wise, sensible person, but the treacherous walk on the path of ruin. Everything a wise and shrewd man does comes from the source of revelation knowledge, but the behavior of a fool puts foolishness on a parade. An undependable messenger causes a lot of trouble, but the trustworthy and wise messengers release healing wherever they go. Poverty and disgrace comes to the one who refuses to hear criticism, but the one who is easy to correct is on the path of honor. When God fulfills your longings, sweetness fills your soul, but the wicked refuse to turn from darkness to see their desire come to pass. If you want to grow in wisdom, then spend time with the wise. Walk with the wicked and you will eventually become just like them. Calamity chases the sin chaser, but prosperity pursues the God lover. The benevolent man leaves an inheritance that endures to his children's children, but the wealth of the wicked is treasured up for the righteous. The lovers of God will live a long life and will get to enjoy their wealth, but the ungodly will suddenly perish. If you withhold correction and punishment from your children, you demonstrate a lack of true life. To prove your love and be prompt to punish them. So prove your love and be prompt to punish them. The lovers of God will have more than enough, but the wicked will always lack what they crave. Chapter 14. Every wise woman encourages and builds up her family, but a foolish woman over time will tear it down by her own actions. Lovers of truth follow the right path because of their wonderment and worship of God, but the devious display their disdain for him. The words of a proud fool will all come back to haunt him, but the words of the wise will become a shield of protection around them. The only clean stable is an empty stable. So if you want the work of an ox and enjoy an abundant harvest, you'll have a mess or two to clean up. An honest witness will never lie, but a deceitful witness lies with every breath. The intellectually arrogant seek for wisdom, but they never seem to discover what they claim they're looking for. For revelation knowledge flows to the one who hungers for understanding. The words of the wise are like weapons of knowledge. So if you need wise counsel, stay away from the fool. For the wisdom of the wise will keep life on the right track, while the fool only deceives himself and refuses to face reality. Fools mock the need for repentance, while the favor of God rests upon all his lovers. Don't expect anyone else to fully understand both the bitterness and the joys of all you experienced in your life. The household of the wicked is soon torn apart, while the family of the righteous flourishes. You can rationalize it all you want and justify the path of error you have chosen, but you'll find out in the end that you took the road to destruction. Superficial laughter can hide a heavy heart, But when the laughter ends, the pain resurfaces. Those who turn from the truth get what they deserve, but a good person receives a sweet reward. A gullible person will believe anything, but a sensible person will confirm the facts. A wise person is careful in all things and turns quickly from evil, while the impetuous fool moves ahead with overconfidence. An impulsive person has a short fuse and can ruin everything, but the wise show self-control. The naive demonstrate a lack of wisdom, but the lovers of wisdom are crowned with revelation knowledge. Evil ones will pay tribute to good people and eventually come to be servants of the godly. The poor are disliked even by their neighbors, but everyone wants to get close to the wealthy. It's a sin to despise one who is less fortunate than you. But when you are kind to the poor, you will prosper and be blessed. Haven't you noticed how evil schemes always wander astray? But the kindness and truth come to those who make plans to be pure in all their ways. If you work hard at what you do, great abundance will come to you. But merely talking about getting rich while living only to pursue your pleasures brings you face to face with poverty. The true net worth of the wise is the wealth that wisdom imparts, but the way of life for the fool is his foolishness. Speak the truth and you'll save souls, but in the spreading of lies, treachery thrives. Confidence and strength flood the hearts of the lovers of God who live in awe of Him, and their devotion provides their children with a place of shelter and security. To worship God in wonder and awe opens a fountain of life within you, empowering you to escape death's domain. A king glories in the number of his loyal followers, but a dwindling population spells ruin for any leader. When your heart overflows with understanding, you'll be very slow to get angry. But if you have a quick temper, your impatience will be quickly seen by all. A tender, tranquil heart will make you healthy, but jealousy can make you sick. Insult your Creator, will you? That's exactly what you do every time you oppress the powerless. Showing kindness to the poor is equal to honoring your Maker. The wicked are crushed by every calamity, but the lovers of God find a strong hope, even in the time of death. Wisdom soothes the heart of the one living with understanding, but the heart of the fool just stockpiles stupidity. A nation is exalted by the righteousness of its people, but sin heaps disgrace upon the land. A wise and faithful servant receives promotion from the king, but the one who acts disgracefully gets to taste the anger of the king. Chapter 15. Respond gently when you are confronted, and you'll diffuse the rage of another. Responding with sharp, cutting words will only make it worse. Don't you know that being angry can ruin the testimony of even the wisest of men? When wisdom speaks, understanding becomes attractive, but the words of the fool makes their ignorance look laughable. The eyes of the Lord are everywhere. He takes note of everything that happens. He watches over His lovers, and He also sees the wickedness of the wicked. When you speak healing words, you offer others fruit from the tree of life. But unhealthy, negative words do nothing but crush their hopes. You are stupid to mock the instruction of a father, but welcoming correction will make you brilliant. There is power in the house of the righteous, but the house of the wicked is filled with trouble, no matter how much money they have. When wisdom speaks, revelation knowledge is released. But finding true wisdom in the words of a fool is futile. It is despicable to the Lord when people use the worship of the Almighty as a cloak for their sin. but every prayer to his godly lovers is pleasing to his heart. The Lord detests the lifestyle of the wicked, but he loves those who pursue purity. Severe punishment awaits the one who turns away from the truth, and those who rebel against correction will die. Even hell itself holds no secrets from the Lord God, for all is exposed before his eyes, and so much more, the heart of every human being. The know-it-all never esteems the one who tries to correct him. He refuses to seek good advice from the wise. A cheerful heart puts a smile on your face, but a broken heart leads to depression. Lovers of God hunger after truth, but those without understanding feast on foolishness and don't even realize it. Everything seems to go wrong when you feel weak and depressed, but when you choose to be cheerful, every day will bring you more and more joy and fullness. It's so much better to live simply, surrounded in holy awe and worship of God, than to have great wealth with a home full of trouble. It's so much better to have a kind, loving family, even with little, than to have great wealth with nothing but hatred and strife all around you. A touchy, hot-tempered man picks a fight, but the calm, patient man knows how to silence strife. Nothing seems to work right for the lazy man, but life seems smooth and easy when your heart is virtuous. When a son learns wisdom, a father's heart is glad. But the man who shames his mother is a foolish son. The senseless fool treats life like a joke, but the one with living understanding makes good choices. Your plans will fall apart right in front of you if you fail to get good advice. But if you first seek out multiple counselors, you'll watch your plans succeed. Everyone enjoys giving great advice, but how delightful it is to say the right thing at the right time. The life path of the prudent lifts them progressively heavenward, delivering them from the death spiral that keeps tugging them downward. The Lord champions the widow's cause, but watch him as he smashes down the house of the haughty. The Lord detests the wicked ways of thinking, but he enjoys lovely and delightful words. The one who puts earning money above his family will have trouble at home, but those who refuse to exploit others will live in peace. An honorable man thinks carefully before he speaks, but the careless blurt out wicked words meant to cause harm. The Lord doesn't respond to the wicked, but he's moved to answer the prayers of his godly lovers. Eyes that focus upon what is beautiful bring joy to your heart, and hearing a good report refreshes and strengthens your inner being. Accepting constructive criticism opens your heart to the path of life, making you right at home among the wise. Refusing constructive criticism shows you have no interest in improving your life. For revelation insight only comes as you accept correction and the wisdom that it brings. The source of revelation knowledge is found as you fall down and surrender before the Lord. Don't expect to see Shekinah glory until the Lord sees your sincere humility. Chapter 16. Go ahead, make all the plans you want, but it's the Lord who will ultimately direct your steps. We are all in love with our own opinions, convinced that they're correct. But the Lord is in the midst of us, testing and probing our every motive. Before you do anything, put your trust totally in God and not in yourself. Then every plan you make will succeed. The Lord works everything together to accomplish His purpose. Even the wicked are included in His plans. He sets them aside for the day of disaster. Exalting yourself is disgusting to the Lord, for pride attracts His punishment, and you can count on that. You can avoid evil through surrendered worship and fear of God, For the power of his faithful love removes sin's guilt's grip over you. When the Lord is pleased with the decisions you've made, he activates grace to turn enemies into friends. It's better to have little with a heart that loves justice than to be rich and not have God on your side. Within your heart, you can make plans for your future, but the Lord chooses the steps you take to get there. A king speaks the revelation of truth, so he must be extraordinarily careful in the decrees that he makes. The Lord expects you to be fair in every business deal, for he is the one who sets the standards for righteousness. Kings and leaders despise wrongdoing, for the true authority to rule and reign is built on a foundation of righteousness. Kings and leaders love to hear godly counsel, and they will love those who will tell them the truth. The anger of a king releases the messenger of death, but a wise person will know how to pacify his wrath. Life-giving light streams from the presence of a king, and his favor is showered upon those who please him. Everyone wants gold, but wisdom's worth is far greater. Silver is sought after, but a heart of understanding yields a greater return. Repenting from evil places you on the highway of holiness. Protect purity, and you protect your life. Your boast becomes a prophecy of a future failure. The higher you lift up yourself in pride, the harder you'll fall in disgrace. It's better to be meek and lowly and live among the poor than to live high and mighty among the rich and famous. One skilled in business discovers prosperity, but the one who trusts in God is blessed beyond belief. The one with a wise heart is called discerning, and speaking sweetly to others makes your teaching even more convincing. Wisdom is a deep well of understanding, opened up within you as a fountain of life for others, but it's senseless to try to instruct a fool. Winsome words pour from a heart of wisdom, adding value to all you teach. Nothing is more appealing than speaking beautiful life-giving words, for they release the sweetness of our soul and inner healing to our spirit. Before every person there is a path that seems like the right one to take, but it leads them straight to hell. Life motivation comes from the deep longings of the heart, and the passion to see them fulfilled urges you onward. A wicked scoundrel wants to dig up dirt on others, only to spread slander and shred their reputation. A twisted person spreads rumors. A whispering gossip ruins good friendships. A vicious criminal can be persuasive, enticing others to join him as partners in crime, but he leads them all down a despicable path. It's so easy to tell when a wicked man is hatching some crooked scheme. It's written all over his face. His looks betray him as he gives birth to his sin. Old age with wisdom will crown you with dignity and honor, for it takes a lifetime of righteousness to acquire it. Do you want to be a mighty warrior? It's better to be known as one who is patient and slow to anger. Do you want to conquer a city? Rule over your temper before you attempt to rule a city. We may toss the coin and roll the dice, but God's will is greater than luck. Chapter 17. A simple, humble life with peace and quiet is far better than opulent lifestyle with nothing but quarrels and strife at home. A wise, intelligent servant will be honored above a shameful son. He'll even end up having a portion left to him in his master's will. In the same way gold and silver are refined by fire, the Lord purifies your heart by the tests and trials of life. Those eager to embrace evil listen to slander, for a liar loves to listen to lies. Mock the poor, will you? You insult your Creator every time you do. If you make fun of others' misfortune, you better watch out. Your punishment is on its way. Grandparents have the crowning glory of life. Grandchildren. And it's only proper for children to take pride in their parents. It's not proper for a leader to lie and to deceive. And don't expect excellent words to be spoken by a fool. Wise instruction is like a costly gem. It turns the impossible into success. Love overlooks the mistakes of others, but dwelling on the failures of others devastates friendships. One word of correction breaks open a teachable heart, but a fool can be corrected 100 times, and he still doesn't know what hit him. Rebellion thrives in an evil man, so a messenger of vengeance will be sent to punish him. It's safer to meet a grizzly bear robbed of her cubs than to confront a reckless fool. The one who returns evil for good can expect to be treated the same way for the rest of his life. Don't be one who is quick to quarrel, for an argument is hard to stop. You never know how it will end, so don't even start down that road. There is nothing God hates more than condemning the one who is innocent and acquitting the one who is guilty. Why pay tuition to educate a fool? For he has no intention of acquiring true wisdom. A dear friend will love you no matter what, and a family sticks together through all kinds of trouble. It's stupid to run up the bills you'll never be able to pay, or co-sign for the loan of your friend. Save yourself the trouble and don't do either one. If you love to argue, then you must be in love with sin, for the boaster is only asking for trouble. The one with a perverse heart never has anything good to say, and the chronic liar tumbles into constant trouble. Parents of a numbskull will have many sorrows, for there's nothing about his lifestyle that will make them proud. A joyful, cheerful heart brings healing to both body and soul, but the one whose heart is crushed struggles with sickness and depression. When you take a secret bribe, your actions reveal your true character, for you pervert the ways of justice. Even the face of a wise man shows his intelligence, but the wandering eyes of a fool will look for wisdom everywhere except right in front of his nose. A father grieves over the foolishness of his child, and bitter sorrow fills his mother. It's horrible to persecute a holy lover of God, or strike an honorable man for his integrity. Can you bridle your tongue when your heart is under pressure? That's how you show that you are wise. An understanding heart keeps you cool, calm, and collected, no matter what you're facing. For even when a fool bites his tongue, he's considered wise. So shut your mouth when you are provoked. It makes you look smart. Chapter 18. An unfriendly person isolates himself and seems to care only about his own issues, for his contempt of sound judgment makes him a recluse. Senseless people find no pleasure in acquiring true wisdom, for all they want to do is impress you with what they know. An ungodly man is always cloaked with disgrace, as dishonor and shame are his companions. Words of wisdom are like a fresh flowing brook, like deep waters that spring forth from within, bubbling up inside the one with understanding. It is atrocious when judges show favor to the guilty and deprive the innocent of justice. A senseless man jumps head first into an argument. He's just asking for a beating for his reckless words. A fool has a big mouth and only gets him into trouble, and you'll pay the price for what he says. The words of a gossip merely reveal the wounds of his own soul, and his slander penetrates into the innermost being. The one who is too lazy to look for work is the same as one who wastes his life away. The character of God is a tower of strength, for the lovers of God delight to run into his heart and be exalted on high. The rich in their conceit imagine their wealth is enough to protect them. It becomes their confidence in the day of trouble. A man's heart is the proudest when its downfall is the nearest, for he won't see glory until the Lord sees humility. Listen before you speak, for to speak before you've heard the facts will bring humiliation. The will to live sustains you when you're sick, but depression crushes courage and leaves you unable to cope. The spiritually hungry are always ready to learn more, for their hearts are eager to discover new truths. Would you like to meet a very important person? Take a generous gift, and it will do wonders to gain entrance into his presence. There are two sides to every story. The first one, to speak, sounds true until you hear the other side, and they set the record straight. A coin toss resolves a dispute and can put an argument to rest between formidable opponents. It's easier to conquer a strong city than to win back a friend that you've offended. Their walls go up, making it nearly impossible to win them back. Sharing words of wisdom are satisfying to your inner being. It encourages you to know that you're changed, that you've changed someone else's life. Your words are so weighty that they have the power to bring life or release death, and the talkative person will reap the consequences. When a man finds a wife, he has found a treasure, for she is the gift of God to bring him joy and pleasure. But the one who divorces a good woman loses what is good from his house. To choose an adulteress is both stupid and ungodly. The poor plead for help from the rich, but all they get in return is a harsh response. Some friendships don't last for long, but there is one loving friend who is joined to your heart closer than any other. Chapter 19. It's better to be honest, even if it leads to poverty, than to live as a dishonest fool. The best way to live is with revelation knowledge, for without it you'll grow impatient and run right into error. There are some people who ruin their own lives and then blame it all on God. Being wealthy means having lots of friends, but the poor can't even keep the ones they have. Perjury won't go unpunished, and liars will get all that they deserve. Everyone wants to be close to the rich and famous, but a generous person has all the friends he wants. When a man is poor, even his family has no use for him. How much more will his friends avoid him? For though he begs for help, they won't respond. Do yourself a favor and love wisdom. Learn all you can. Then watch your life flourish and prosper. Tell lies, and you're going to get caught. And the habitual liar is doomed. It doesn't seem right when you see a fool living in the lap of luxury, or a prideful servant ruling over princes. A wise person demonstrates patience, for mercy means holding your tongue. When you are insulted, be quick to forgive and forget it. For you are virtuous when you overlook an offense. The rage of a king is like the roar of a lion, but his sweet favor is like a gentle, refreshing rain. A rebellious son breaks a father's heart, and the nagging wife can drive you crazy. You can inherit houses and land from your parents, but a good wife only comes as a gracious gift from God. Go ahead, be lazy and passive, but you'll go hungry if you live that way. Honor God's holy instructions, and life will go well for you. But if you despise his ways and choose your own plans, you will die. Every time you give to the poor, you make a loan to the Lord. Don't worry. You'll be repaid in full for all the good you've done. Don't be afraid to discipline your children while they're still young enough to learn. Don't indulge your children or be swayed by their protests. A hot-tempered man has to pay the price for his anger. If you bail him out once, you'll do it a dozen times. Listen well to wise counsel and be willing to learn from correction, so that by the end of your life you'll be known for your wisdom. A person may have many ideas concerning God's plan for their life, but only the designs of his purpose will succeed in the end. A man is charming when he displays tender mercies to others, but a lover of God who is poor and promises nothing is better than a rich liar who never keeps his promises. When you live a life of abandoned love surrendered before the awe of God, here's what you'll experience: abundant life, continual protection, and complete satisfaction. There are some people who pretend they're hurt, deadbeats who won't even work to feed themselves. If you punish the insolent, who don't know any better, they will learn to not mock. But if you correct a wise man, he will grow even wiser. Kids who mistreat their parents are an embarrassment to their family and a public disgrace. So listen, my child, don't reject correction, or you'll certainly wander from the ways of truth. A corrupt witness makes a mockery of justice, for the wicked will never play by the rules. Judgment is waiting for those who mock the truth, and foolish living invites a beating. Chapter 20. A drunkard is obnoxious, loud, and argumentative. You're a fool to get intoxicated with strong drink. The rage of a king is like the roar of a lion. Do you really want to go and make him angry? A person of honor will put an argument to rest. Only the stupid want to pick a fight. If you're too lazy to plant seed, it's too bad when you have no harvest on which you feed. A man of deep understanding will give good advice, drawing it out from the well within. Many will tell you they're your loyal friends, but who can find one who is truly trustworthy? The lovers of God will walk in integrity, and their children are fortunate to have godly parents as their examples. A righteous king sits in his judgment seat. He scatters evil away from his kingdom by his wise discernment. Which of us can truly say, I am free from sin in my life, for my heart is clean and pure? Mark it down. God hates it when you demonstrate a double standard, one for them and one for you. Every child shows what they're really like by how they act. You can discern their character whether they are pure or perverse. Lovers of God have been given eyes to see with spiritual discernment and ears to hear from God. If you spend all your time sleeping, you'll grow poor. So wake up, sleephead. Don't sleep on the job. And then there will be plenty of food on your table. The buyer says as he haggles over the price, "That's junk. It's worthless." Then he goes out and brags, "Look at the great bargain I got." You may have an abundance of wealth, piles of gold and jewels, but there is something of far greater worth: speaking revelation words of knowledge. Anyone stupid enough to guarantee a loan for a stranger deserves to have his property held as security. If you obtain dishonesty, you may obtain dishonestly may seem sweet at first, but sooner or later you'll live to regret it. If you solicit good advice, then your plans will succeed. So don't charge into battle without wisdom. For wars are won by skillful strategy. A blabbermouth will reveal your secrets, so stay away from people who can't keep their mouths shut. If you despise your father or mother, your life will flicker out like a lamp, extinguished into the deepest darkness. If an inheritance is gained too early in life, it will not be blessed in the end. Don't ever say, I'm going to get even with them if it's the last thing I do. Wrap God's grace around your heart, and He will be the one to vindicate you. The Lord hates double standards. That's hypocrisy at its worst. It is the Lord who directs your life, for each step you take is ordained by God to bring you closer to your destiny. So much of your life, then, remains a mystery. Be careful in making a rash promise before God, or you may be trapped by your vow and live to regret it. A wise king is able to discern corruption and remove wickedness from his kingdom. The Spirit of God breathed into man is like a living lamp and shining light, searching the innermost chambers of our being. Good leadership is built upon love and truth, for kindness and integrity is what keeps leaders in their position of trust. We admire the young for their strength and beauty, but the dignity of the old is their wisdom. When you are punished severely, you'll learn your lesson well, for your painful experience does wonders to change your life. Chapter 21. It says, easy for God to steer a king's heart for His purposes as it is for him to direct the course of a stream. You may think you're right all the time, but God thoroughly examines our motives. It pleases God more when we demonstrate godliness and justice than to merely offer Him a sacrifice. Arrogance, superiority, and pride are the fruits of wickedness and the true definition of sin. Brilliant ideas pay off and bring you prosperity, but making hasty, impatient decisions will only lead to a financial loss. You can make a fortune dishonestly, but your crime will hold you in the snares of death. Violent rebels don't have a chance, for the rejection of truth and their love of evil will drag them deeper into darkness. You can discern that a person is guilty by their devious actions, and the innocence of a person by their honest, sincere ways. It's better to live all alone in a rackety shack than to share a castle with a crabby spouse. The wicked always craves what is evil. They'll show no mercy and get no mercy. Senseless people learn their lessons the hard way, but the wise are teachable. A godly, righteous person has the ability to bring the light of instruction to the wicked, even though they despise what the wicked do. If you close your heart to the cries of the poor, then I'll close my ears when you cry out to me. Try giving a secret gift to the one who is angry with you and watch his anger disappear. A kind, generous gift goes a long way to soothe the anger of the one who is livid. When justice is served, the lovers of God celebrate and rejoice. But the wicked begin to panic when you forsake the ways. Oh wait, let me read that again. When justice is served, the lovers of God celebrate and rejoice, but the wicked begin to panic. When you forsake the ways of wisdom, you will wander into the realm of dark spirits. To love pleasure for pleasure's sake will introduce you to poverty. Indulging in a life of sybaritic luxury will never make you wealthy. The wicked bring on themselves the very suffering they plan for others, for their treachery comes back to haunt them. It's better to live in a hut in the wilderness than with a crabby, scolding spouse. In wisdom's house you'll find delightful treasures and the oil of the Holy Spirit. But the stupid squander what they have been given. The lovers of God who chase after righteousness will find all their dreams come true. An abundant life drenched with favor and a fountain that overflows with satisfaction. A warrior filled with wisdom ascends into the high place and releases regional breakthrough, bringing down the strongholds of the mighty. Watch your words and be careful what you say, and you'll be surprised how few troubles you have. An arrogant man is inflated with pride, nothing but a snooty scoffer in love with his own opinion. Mr. Mocker is his name. Taking the easy way out is the habit of a lazy man, and it will be his downfall. All day long he thinks about all the things he craves, for he hasn't learned the secret that the generous man has learned. Extravagant giving never leads to poverty. To bring an offering to God with an ulterior motive is detestable, for it amounts to nothing but hypocrisy. No one believes a notorious liar, but the guarded words of an honest man stand the test of time. The wicked are shameless and stubborn, but the lovers of God have a holy confidence. All your brilliant wisdom and clever insight will be of no help at all if the Lord is against you. You can do your best to prepare for the battle, but ultimate victory comes from the Lord God.